This is Thames from London. Don't forget, the Christmas line's open and it's there to help you if you need it on 01 484 4483 or 4.
I'm Barry Mosley and I'm filming competition from Derby. I won the Group C final.
I'm Lawson Keir, a solicitor from Payne, Rothshire. I was the highest runner-up.
I'm Steve Ball, a Building Society official from Hull. I won the Group B final.
I'm David Lee, a law student at Oxford. I won the Group A final.
Welcome to the climax of the 1988 series, the Krypton Factor Grand Final. From nearly 10,000 original applicants, 36 made it to the screen and now just 4 remain to do battle one last time. And after 6 more of the most challenging mental and physical tests, one of them will emerge to receive this splendid Krypton trophy and take the title United Kingdom Superperson 1988. Well, our grand finalists are all anxious to get started, so let me wish the very best of luck to each one of them. To Barry Mosley, Lawson Keir, Steve Ball and David Lee. And tonight's mental agility test features international time differences. Each contestant will be given 2 destinations and the time difference between those places and London. I will announce the time in one place and the contestant must give me back the corresponding times in the other 2. So, for example, given that Los Angeles time is 8 hours behind London and Moscow is 3 hours ahead, I might say, London, 1200 hours. The contestant should then respond, Los Angeles, 0400 hours, Moscow, 1500 hours. The times in Los Angeles and Moscow when it's midday in London. Right, finalists, put your headphones on, please, for total concentration. This is a speed test, and you must give me as many answers as you can in 40 seconds. We begin with you, Barry, and the information that in relation to London, New York is -5 hours, Hong Kong +8 hours. Your 40 seconds start now. London, 0900 hours.
New York 0400, Hong Kong 1700.
Hong Kong, 1900 hours.
London 1100 hours. New York 600 hours.
New York, 0100 hours.
London 900 hours. Hong Kong 1700 hours.
Wrong. Hong Kong, 2300 hours.
London 1500 hours. New York 800 hours.
Wrong. London, 0700 hours.
New York 0200. Hong Kong 1500 hours.
New York, 09... That's it. Your time is up. And in 40 seconds, Barry, in a very tough round, you have scored 3. Well done. We move on to Lawson. Brazil, -3 hours. Siberia, +9 hours. Your 40 seconds start now. London, 1300 hours.
Brazil, 1000 hours. Siberia, 2200 hours.
Brazil, 0200 hours.
London, 500 hours. Siberia, 1400 hours.
Siberia, 1900 hours.
Brazil, 700 hours. London, 1000 hours.
Brazil, 1100 hours.
London, 1400 hours. Siberia, 2300 hours.
London, 0400 hours.
Brazil, 100 hours. Siberia, 1300 hours.
Siberia, 1700 hours.
Brazil, 500 hours. London, 800 hours.
Brazil, 0900 hours.
London, 1200 hours. Siberia, 2100 hours.
London, 0600... No need to answer that. You were in terrific form, Lawson, and in 40 seconds you have scored 7, which is excellent. Well done. Now, on to Steve. Phoenix, -7 hours. Oman, +4 hours. Your 40 seconds start now. London, 1100 hours.
Phoenix, 400 hours. Oman, 1500 hours.
Phoenix, 0500 hours.
London, 1200 hours. Oman, 1600 hours.
Oman, 2300 hours.
London, 1900 hours. Phoenix, 1200 hours.
Phoenix, 0900 hours.
London, 1600 hours. Oman, 2000 hours.
London, 1400 hours.
Oman, 1800 hours. Phoenix, 700 hours.
Oman, 2100 hours.
London, 1700 hours. Phoenix, 1000 hours.
Phoenix, 0800 hours.
London, 1500 hours. Oman,
time's-
1900 hours.
Your time's up just before you finished that. You had, in fact, got it right, but the time was up. In 40 seconds, you got 6 right, which, again, is an excellent performance, Steve. Well done. And finally, to David. Cuba, -5 hours. Sri Lanka, +6 hours. Your 40 seconds start now. London, 0700 hours.
Cuba, 0200 hours. Sri Lanka, 1300 hours.
Cuba, 1200 hours.
London, 1700 hours. Sri Lanka, 2300 hours.
Sri Lanka, 1900 hours.
London, 1300 hours. Cuba, 800 hours.
Cuba, 0500 hours.
London, 1000 hours. Sri Lanka, 1600 hours.
London, 0600 hours.
Cuba, 0000 hours. No, sorry. Carry on.
On to the next one. Sri Lanka, 1500 hours. Well, no need to answer that. Hard luck on the previous one, but in 40 seconds, you got 4 right. Well done, David. Well, that was the toughest mental agility test of the series. As you'd expect in a grand final, and under pressure, they cope with it brilliantly. And we'll go straight to the scoreboard to see how it all worked out. And there we are, 4th, Barry. In 3rd place, David. 2nd, Steve. But having got 7 time differences correct, the early leader with a Krypton factor of 10, Lawson Keir. An aircraft carrier speeds out to sea. Astern, a Sea King helicopter approaches to attempt the very tricky and highly skilled maneuver of landing on a moving surface. And that's the brand new, exciting challenge we present to our grand finalists in round 2. They will take the controls and attempt the nerve-wracking landing in this, the most advanced simulator in the world at the Royal Naval Air Station Culdrose. Lieutenant Commander Maurice McBride is the officer in charge. And Barry Mosley is first into the pilot's seat, and that flare tells him that he has 1 mile to go. His left hand on the collective lever, which moves the chopper up and down. The cyclic stick in his right hand will roll the helicopter to the left or right. So it's a real test of coordination, a bit like patting your head with one hand while rubbing your stomach with the other. Just coming up astern of the aircraft carrier now, and drops down too low, almost ditched in the sea there, but is now pulling on the left hand to get height again, which he's done quite nicely. And he's over that deck and coming in to land, and down he goes. A couple of bounces there, but he's landed, and that's brilliant stuff. Barry Mosley, well done. Lawson Keir at about 1,000 feet, heading for the deck of HMS Illustrious. Now the controls are very sensitive, and he's just pulling up gently with his left hand on that collective lever to maintain his height. It's a whole new technique to master after the fixed-wing aircraft, the 146 jet and the Sea Harrier jump jet. He's getting a bit close to those funnels now, and descending too hard, and that's a crash on the deck. Hard luck, Lawson Keir. Steve Ball next, and he's in a fair bit of trouble already. That's the ship over to the right. It should be dead ahead, so he's got a lot of work to do here. He needs to gain height by pulling up with his left hand, and also to slow down a lot, which is achieved by pulling back the cyclic stick in his right hand. And that's what he's attempting to do now. Real coordination and skill required, and he's done pretty well to get back behind the ship and above it. Now can he get it down? This is the tricky moment. And going very close to those funnels. He's got to do something about it, and he veers off to the left. He's overdone it now. He's in big trouble. This is going to be a crash. There he goes. He's off the side of the aircraft carrier and into the ocean. Well, that's a pity, because he had recovered quite well. And finally, the second of our 2 Scots finalists, David Lee. Now, he crashed the 146 passenger jet, but he landed the Sea Harrier jump jet, so what will he do here? A young man who's failed his driving test a couple of times, but showing tremendous control and coolness here as he closes in on that deck at a perfect height. Now, can he get it down? Speed, control with the right hand, height with the left hand, and he's just holding it above the deck, because don't forget that aircraft carrier is steaming ahead, and he's just trying to hold it and move forward a little bit. This is beautiful control here by David Lee, and puts it down now. That's outstanding. A very controlled flight. Now, here's High Lieutenant Commander McBride judged it. Fourth was Steve Ball, off course at the start and overcorrected to crash at the end, rolling off the deck into the sea, 2 points. Third was Lawson Keir, a very good approach, positioned nicely over the deck, but descended too quickly for a crash landing, 4 points. Second, Barry Mosley, a good approach, but almost ditched at the stern of the ship, recovered well for a good landing, 6 points. And the winner, David Lee, a very controlled and smooth flight with an excellent landing. So congratulations to David on that brilliant performance, and of a man who just can't pass his driving test. Lieutenant Commander McBride said he has the touch of a born pilot. Well done to him, and now to the scoreboard to see what difference those points make. And, well, look at that, 2 people sharing third place with 8 points, but we have joint leaders with Krypton factors of 14, both Scotsmen, solicitor Lawson Keir and postgraduate law student at Oxford University, David Lee. A great battle developing, and for round 3, it's feet firmly on the ground. This is the intelligence test puzzle, and it features one of Britain's best-known seaside landmarks, Blackpool Tower. Contestants, in front of you are 12 irregular shapes of diminishing size. Your task is to fit them together to complete the tower. And when the final piece is placed on top, the tower will automatically illuminate. Are you ready, finalists? The test starts now. Well, there's a very obvious system to work to here, with the many sections having ever-decreasing girths as they rise up the tower. But this being the Krypton Factor Grand Final, it's not quite as easy as that. There are, as you'd expect, a few twists. Some of those pieces can be fitted around the central column, but others have to be slid down from the top into position. And indeed, that is one of those very sections that Barry Mosley has at the moment. Now, how quickly will he work out the method, I wonder? And he's got it. Yes, that's very sharp. Of course, apart from the sizes, the only other visual information the finalists have to go on are the shapes which follow the contours of the steel girders stretching from the base to the top. Steve Ball struggling, Lawson Keir doing better, but this looks good. Only the top section to fit, I think. And yes, the tower lights up, and David Lee wins it. That's brilliant. And the man he shared the lead with going into the round, Lawson Keir, is just a few seconds behind. And that means the Scots take first and second places. Spatial awareness, not one of Steve Ball's strong points. And it's Barry Mosley who takes third place, worth 4 points to him. And now it's Steve finishing fourth, but no disgrace in that because they were excellent times all round. A marvellous looking test, and our congratulations to David, whose face lit up almost as much as the tower when he realised he had the 10 important points. And it means we do now have a clear leader with a Krypton factor of 24, the student whose home is in Alva near Stirling, David Lee. Well, still 3 rounds to go. This is observation, where our finalists, and those of you at home who wish to play, have their powers of observation tested. Coming up, 2 versions of a specially shot musical comedy scene. Similar they may seem, but in fact the second take will have 6 changes. Can you spot them? Right, headphones on again please, finalists, and turn quickly to your screens. And for their final appearance in this year's Krypton Factor, Andrew O'Connor and Jessica Martin celebrate musically with The Last Duet.
You creep into my heart and make my heart burn.
You sneak into my mind and make my head ache. There are things I long to tell you, you're much too blunt.
Snore.
Look, it's time to face the music.
No, I don't want your flowers.
you please write down what you think the 6 changes were. And while I get on with that, I'd like to say a quick thank you to Andrew O'Connor and Jessica Martin for their splendid performances in our observation videos this year. But they have one last curtain call as we now show you precisely what the 6 differences were. The first change is to Jessica's earrings. There they are in take 1, but they've gone in take 2. Then Andrew's flower. First of all it's red, but then it changes to white. Next a swap in lines.
You're much too blonde.
Snore.
But in take 2,
You're much too blonde.
Snore.
next 2 changes. The waiter's bow tie and champagne bottles are there in take 1, but both have vanished in take 2. Finally, they finish back-to-back in take 1, but face-to-face in take 2. Those were the differences, and these are the contestants' answer cards, and let's tell them how they did. Barry, you got 2 right and finished in 4th place. Lawson, you got 3 right, and Steve, you also got 3 right, so together you are joint 2nd. But David, with 4 right, you're the winner of the round. Congratulations. And those points go straight into the scoreboard, and, well, he's setting a very hot pace indeed. Out in front with a Krypton factor now of 34, the postgraduate law student at Oxford University, David Lee. For round 5, we go out to the assault course where all 4 finalists will start together on the orders of Colonel Terry Hammond. Off they go, and if we look back at their times recorded on this course, David Lee on the far side in blue is slight favourite, but Barry Mosley, nearest to us in red, was only 2nd slower, and Steve Ball's time suggests that he's within striking distance too. So we are expecting a tremendous battle. And 3 of them over that wall together. The man who's dropped just a couple of strides behind is Lawson Keir in green. Not too far behind though. And off that high balance, it's David Lee, nice landing, and into the vertical pipes with Steve Ball 2nd, Barry Mosley 3rd, and they pull themselves up on a rope inside that very hard obstacle. And it's David who comes out first with Barry 2nd and Steve 3rd. And now here's another obstacle where many a mistake has been made, but not by David Lee, not by Steve Ball or Barry Mosley. They're all together and climbing, just what we hoped for in the final. What a race this is turning out to be. And all of these finalists, of course, it's their 3rd run on the assault course, so they know the techniques, they know the stamina that's needed, and they know most of all how to pace the race. Lawson back in 4th place. But David has established a slight lead, and of course it's a personal battle here between him and Barry Mosley. David, as he selects a strand of rope and begins to pull back on it to climb, that's the best technique to use. Your feet either side of that strand of rope, 30 feet high, that's a nice slip over at the top, because he and Barry Mosley are unbeaten on the course. Lovely turn by Barry Mosley as well. So one of them has to be beaten for the first time today. I wonder who it's going to be. At the moment, David Lee is slightly in the lead, but Barry Mosley is just behind him. David, who's represented Oxford University of Soccer, played lots of squash, and Barry Mosley, who's completed several marathons, so he knows he's got the stamina and a good finish. That's Steve Ball in 3rd place. Lawson Keir is behind him, not too far behind, so good battle going on for 3rd place. But the battle for 1st place is definitely between these 2. David Lee in the lead, and he'll be thinking very hard now about his landing. Important to get this right, to clear as much of the water as he can, and he almost cleared the lot. That's a brilliant landing by David Lee. Now Barry Mosley is going to have to match that. He gets the feet right up, which is the key to it, and he too almost clears the water. But it is David Lee who's going to win this race. Over the line he comes to get 10 valuable points. A very well-judged race. Congratulations to him. And Barry Mosley is 2nd, 6 points. What a fight they had. And here's the fight for 3rd place. Lawson Keir, he tries to make up too much ground there, trying to catch Steve Ball. And that's allowed Steve to finish comfortably in 3rd place, to pick up 4 points, with Lawson 4th. And before we go to the scoreboard, as that was the last assault course race of the series, we now know who have won the awards for the fastest male and female contestants. Alan Robbie from Fraserburgh, Scotland, and Hereford actress Elizabeth Hayward. Our warmest congratulations to them. But now back to the scoreboard, and that assault course victory means he's stretched his lead to 16 points. Oxford's David Lee. Just over 90 seconds remain before we know who will become the 1988 Krypton Factor champion. And with 2 points for a correct answer and 2 points deducted for a wrong one, it's not over yet. Here we go then with the last round of the 1988 series. 90 seconds of rapid-fire general knowledge questions. Ready on the buzzers, finalists? The clock starts now. Of which country is Bucharest the capital? Steve?
Hungary.
No, Romania. Which character says, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your..." Barry?
Richard III.
No, Mark Antony. Which British musical that won several Tony Awards this year starred Michael Crawford? David?
Phantom of the Opera.
Correct. Which operation was first performed in December 1967 in... Barry?
Heart transplant.
Correct. Which pop group had #1 hits with Heart and Always on My Mind? Steve?
No.
Pet Shop Boys. The anti-knock rating of petrol is indicated by numbers called... Barry?
4 stars. Octane.
Octane, correct. Octave and sestet make which 14-line poetic form? Steve? Quickly.
No.
Sonnet. Who composed sonatas called Waldstein, Kreutzer, Pathétique and Moonlight? Barry?
Beethoven.
Beethoven, correct. Which actor played Norman Bates, the motel owner in the film Psycho? Barry? Quickly, Anthony Perkins. Perkin Warbeck led a rebellion in 1497 against which king who had won the Battle of Lawson?
Henry VII.
Correct. Herbert Henry who was British Prime Minister when World War I began? Lawson?
Asquith.
Correct. Ascot, Gavotte and Get Me to the Church on Time are from which? Barry? The answer is My Fair Lady. Fairbanks, Anchorage and Juneau are in which state of the USA? Barry?
Alaska.
Correct. Lasker, Tal, Smyslov and Capablanca were all world champions at which game? Barry?
Chess.
Correct. And that's it, the end of the round in the contest, and the winner and United Kingdom Superperson of 1988, the youngest person ever to win the title, Scotland's David Lee. Congratulations, David. Brilliant performance. Last year it was the first ever woman, this year it's the youngest ever contestant to win, and you led, I think, from the second round onwards, which is a great way to do it. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah. Absolutely exhausted, actually.
Well,
Terrible.
it was a marvellous performance, and congratulations to you.
Thanks very much.
And now to present the trophy to our new champion, a man who knows better than most what it is to be a winner. He was 7 times National Hunt champion and first past the winning post more than 1,000 times. Ladies and gentlemen, one of sport's great achievers, John Frankham. Welcome to the Krypton Factor, John. Welcome. You were, of course, tremendous over the jumps, and we've got a few jumps in our programme on the assault course. Is that something you'd fancy a crack at?
I think I'd have needed my horse to have beaten David the way he went up there.
I'd love to see a horse going down the aerial slide. It's great to see you here, John, and I would now like you to present the trophy to our 1988 United Kingdom Superperson, David Lee.
That's a great achievement, that. 200 years ago, they'd have started breeding from him.
Fittingly winds up the 1988 series of the Krypton Factor. Our thanks to John Frankham for making the presentation, to all the contestants who took part, and most of all to you for watching. We shall be back next autumn. In the meantime, let me wish you a happy new year, and we shall congratulate one more time our new Krypton Factor champion, Scotland's David Lee.
There's a special Krypton Factor Celebrity Challenge next Monday at 4:15.